Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome. So, guys, I have a few minutes to, put out some content while I am in between houses. um, so last time we were talking about, the situation of single parenting, and I kind of was all over the place with the population decline and women who are deliberately putting themselves in the situation of being a single mom because there's so much opportunities available for women to freeze their eggs and to become artificially inseminated so that they can like have their families past a certain age. I'm not gonna lie. I did not enjoy being pregnant uh over 30, you know. I understand that this is for what it's worth, okay? It was a difficult situation. I was married. My husband was as supportive as he could have been under the circumstances, but it was hard because my body just was working from a place and a space of being much older and out of practice of having children. When I had when I had my 18-year-old, I was 21. It was a complete surprise, but my body was ready, fit, and able. I was also way more athletic. And for those of you who want to know, I am a very sporty person who always does sports. Like I am not lazy about being physically active. So I know that, I can be a physically active person. The fact of the matter is that once you start to once you start to get up there in age, your doctor will start to list some of the concerns that are naturally a part of getting pregnant when you are in your late 30s, mid 30s, 30s. I did not have those issues when I had my first daughter because I was in what is called the childbearing age. So what ended up happening was that, oh my God, what ended up happening was that I ended up I was in labor for 2 days. I know I must have talked about this on one of my other videos. If you guys want to check that out, please go ahead and do so. But what I want to talk about specifically is the difference in the two um, pregnancies. And add to that the fact that pregnancies are always different in every single woman um, is really a testament to the fact that when you do this, you are rolling dice. Now, like I said before, I understand that circumstances might not be in your favor to have children earlier. And right now, I'm going back to school, developing my career because I still have the savvy to want to do it. But I really believe, based on the comparison of the two pregnancies, I love both my children, so this is not a testament to how much I care of either one. But I really believe that knowing now what I knew then, if my circumstances would have allowed me to have more children younger or as soon as I had met my husband, then I would have gone with that first because there is nothing worse than wanting to have children and being told you can't. And that could have easily been my circumstances because we were 1 month away from really going into alternate, because it took us a year to get pregnant the second time. Um, that was on my mind constantly. Like, what if I can't have any more children? What if my daughter is it? And that is a reality that a lot of women in my situation face. Now, I don't understand exactly why a lot of women who are having children older, because this is what I talked about on my Facebook page, where women were coming at me like, oh, well, this anecdote and that anecdote and the other anecdote. Baby, in reality, it is not that easy. Now, I understand that there are always exceptions to the rule. And what I try to talk about on my channel, and especially when it comes to relationships and relating, is that a lot of us are just the rule. Yes, some of us are the exception, but do you really want to live your life with the probability of maybe you being that exception of 3% of women who, I'm just throwing an arbitrary number out there. I don't know what the percentage is exactly. I just know that your fertility decreases year after year. I think it's something like 25, and then it starts to like really start to like go downhill. you know. And I was very, very fortunate that I was still pretty young, in health, in good health, and in great shape. But that pregnancy was fucking difficult. It was extremely hard, and it was nothing like night and day compared to what it was. So if you are a married woman in your 20s and you are in a place and space where you feel physically capable and emotionally capable to have children, go ahead and do it, because the career can happen later on. Now, the second part of this that I want to talk about is the fact that and a lot of people have feel some kind of way about me saying this, but it is not me, it's not my opinion, it's the fact. Having the ability to do that at this age and not have to like go out and get the bag and work your butt off to be able to provide for your family. If you have that opportunity, that is a luxury. Staying at home and being a housewife these days is a luxury. Women have always worked. And I know for what it's worth, people are going to say that's not true, that women, we had to like had to stay. That's not true. Women have always worked. Working women have always existed. And the fact that we now want to fight for something that we've always had the necessity to have to do because, you know, not being able to stay home with your children and just like look pretty and run your home was a luxury provided only to the few, especially if we're going to talk about women of Black African descent. We were slave labor. We were labor for our men because we had to work in the field alongside our man. So we've always worked. So I don't know where this idea, especially in the West, came from that, we were held back from working and earning our own money. We had to work because that was not a luxury that was provided to us. Women who have the luxury now, we all now have that luxury. If we would start to consider the fact that we don't need certain amenities. I've been practicing this word and I still can't get it right. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, don't come for me. Please don't correct me too much. I am an English teacher. But a lot of us have gotten used to this idea that we need to work in order to maintain a certain level of lifestyle. Now, for those of you who don't live in Europe, who live in America, who have this issue of like what childcare costs, I think I would challenge you to weigh the cost of sending your child to daycare and childcare and opt out of that and, downsize so that you can be the first provider of education, nourishment, and nurturing for your child um, for the first 3 years of their life, if you can afford to do so. But it might not come across, it might come as an even cheaper option than having to send your child to school because schools are astronomically expensive. And consider this. If you were in a country like Germany, you would have to send your child to school and you would have to go to work because the alternative does not really weigh in your favor to do both. School here finishes at like 11. It starts at 8. So by the time you spin around, if you don't have a full-time job and a way to prove that you need to go to work and you have an essential job that requires that you be there full-time, you are only paying for your child to basically socialize. So I could get into that in another video. I will not be doing that. But I just want to say, for what it's worth, each situation has its pros and its cons. These are my pros and cons as I saw it in my own experience, and I want us to be able to to really consider that this might be something that we can do if we are in a situation that allows us the privilege to stay home with our children and make that our priority as opposed to just consumerism and materialism so that we can live a I don't really know why we need so much freaking money, but um and I don't know your financial situation or your financial goals or circumstances, so I'm not going to say that it's too much, but I'm just going to say that for me, it was the easiest thing to just stay home with my kids for as long as I could because my career could wait and my husband was very much capable of being able to take care of us our basic financial needs, and it has worked out well for us. So, thank you guys so much for stopping by again. I'll see you in the next one.